Okay, so we are getting back into Empire. And honestly, I feel kind of bad because we actually started covering the prelude to this event. And I just, for some reason, forgot to continue to cover this event. And so we are going to continue covering Empire and basically use this as a way to give us a break from the Dawn of X coverage. And so these videos will be the second videos of each day from here on out until we jump back over to Dawn of X. But either way, when it came to Empire, Empire was that strange event that Marvel just brought out of nowhere. And what I mean is, this event builds off another storyline that Marvel did 40 years ago, back in the 1970s, known as the Kree-Skrull War. Now, like the name says, it was basically a war between two alien races, the Kree and the Skrulls. And so that event is the reason why we have this event right here. Now, I could go deeper into explaining the whole storyline between this one and that one, but I'm going to recommend you guys go ahead and go back and watch my earlier videos to go ahead and get a better understanding. Because in this storyline, it's honestly not really focusing on the Kree-Skrull War as much for me to sit down and explain the whole war to you. But my earlier videos do. But either way, we pick up with Empire Fantastic Four number 0. Because when it came to Empire, it was a Avengers Fantastic Four event. They are the two main groups that we're going to see in this storyline. And so they both got a prelude issue as a way to lead into the big event. We already covered Empire Avengers, so now it's time for Empire Fantastic Four. Now, we do jump over to a casino that's right in the middle of the universe known as Casino Cosmico. Now, this is run by a lady known as the Profiteer. Now, she is an elder of the universe. Now, if you're wondering what in the world is an elder of the universe, let me explain. So you have a group of people that come from different races, from ancient races when the universe first began, and they are each the last person of their original race, meaning that they are the last person of their race to survive. And so with them being the last person of their race to survive, they then were granted the ability to live forever thanks to death. And so with that, the Profiteer is an elder of the universe. She and her brother are the last two people to survive from their race, and so they're able to live forever because they were granted that by death. And of course, they kind of do different things by their name. So for example, her name is the Profiteer, and her main goal is to make a profit, to make money. Now, of course, like I said earlier, she is the one who is running this casino. And you're wondering, okay, that's how she makes her money. Yes, but she also makes her money by having two particular characters fight against each other. Because remember, this whole event was built off the idea of the Kree-Skrull War. That is something I want you to remember. Two alien races fighting against each other. Because when it comes to the Profiteer, what she did was she grabbed a kid from each race. So for example, there's a kid named Jovan who is from the Kree. You also have a young lady named Nakala who is from the Skrulls. And because she knows the Kree and the Skrulls hate one another, she knew if she grabbed these two kids, they would fight against each other in front of a crowd of people, and that would give her more money. Now, these two kids are very special, and the reason why, because they were made in a lab by their own race. Because with their own race, they have been trying to win the war against their opponents. And so the Kree and the Skrulls began the process of making themselves, or making more of themselves, in a laboratory. And so Jovan and Nakala, they were made in the laboratory to become great warriors to fight against each other. But getting back to the Profiteer, she was able to grab these two kids, kind of raise them up and then have them fight against one another as a way for her to make more money. But then we pick up with the Fantastic Four because, of course, this is their book. We need to know what in the world they are doing. And right now, they're out in the middle of space and they're stuck because their space vehicle basically ran out of gas. Now, they are confronted by a smaller alien, and you do have Reed and other members of the Fantastic Four try to give this alien some money because in this area of the universe, there is a certain kind of currency that could work and should work. And so they're hoping that this small alien would be nice enough to tow their vehicle back to Earth or to a nearby station so that they can repair their space vehicle. But that is the moment you have this small alien tell the Fantastic Four that their currency can no longer be accepted because in this part of the universe, they have a new system, a trade system. And so, of course, it's kind of like, what are you going to trade to me to actually help you? Now, that is the moment you have the small alien look at Ben Grimm and realize that Ben Grimm is somewhat famous in the universe as a great fighter. And so that's the moment you have Johnny Storm make a deal with the small alien. If the small alien tows their car to a nearby station, then the next time Ben Grimm has some kind of boxing match, then that small alien will get front row seats. But getting back over to the Profiteer, we do see her right now watching over the doctors as they both work on Jovan and Nakala to make sure they're ready for their next fight. Now, when it comes to the Profiteer, she is very angry because these fights between these two kids have not been that long like she wanted them to. And so she says these fights, they have to last longer. So one, we can make more money, but two, also please our fans. And so right now she's telling her staff, find a way to make these fights last longer. But getting back over to the Fantastic Four, we do see them arrive at the Cosmico Casino. Now, as soon as they arrive, you do have Franklin and Val being forced to stay behind with the ship to make sure nothing happens at all, while the grown-ups get the chance to walk around the casino to kind of hopefully find someone to trade with so they can get back home to Earth. Now, of course, while you have our heroes walking around and trying to find somebody to trade with, you do have Johnny Storm actually sign Ben Grimm up for the next boxing match because again, he made that deal with the small alien saying that if the next time Ben Grimm is in some kind of boxing match, I'll make sure you get front row seats. But he was very serious about the idea of making Ben Grimm fight in a boxing match. And of course, with them being here at this casino, there will be more fights happening down the road. But that is the moment you have Reed overhear something. He overhears that the Kree and the Skrulls, the war is finally over. Now, for Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four, this is huge because the Kree and Skrull War has been going on for so many years in the universe. It's well known. It's very well known across the universe. And of course, if they were able to make peace with one another after all these years, that is something huge to say. And so you have Reed and Susan say, we need to look around this casino and gather more clues because there's no way the Kree and the Skrulls have basically formed an alliance, that their war is finally over. And then we get a page to learn that Val Richards and Franklin Richards, they're gambling because we come to find out they had already sold the vehicle, the Fantastic Four space vehicle, to get some money and use that money as a way to gamble. And because Valerie Richards thinks that she is so smart, she'll find a way to earn that money back plus more, and everything is going to be okay. But of course, that is the moment we see her struggling when it comes to gambling. But then we jump over to the Human Torch and the Thing, because they did not join Reed or Sue, as they both left to look for more clues to see if it is true the Kree-Skrull War is over. The Human Torch and the Thing, they stay behind to watch the next match. And of course, the next match is Jovan and Nakala once again, the children from the Kree and Skrulls. They're fighting against one another that quick, even though Nakala almost died just a few pages ago. But of course, with the Human Torch and Ben Grimm realizing that everybody is watching two kids fight one another, you have our heroes jump in to stop the fighting, because that's not cool to watch two children fight against one another to literal death. Now, that is the moment you have Reed Richards actually confront the Profiteer, because to Reed, he thinks that she was the one who had actually ended the war. And that is the moment you have the Profiteer say, no, I am not the one who had ended the war. I'm the one who is trying to keep the war alive between the Kree and the Skrulls. And the reason why? Because their war had made me a lot of money. But I'm not only known as the Profiteer, I'm also known as the War Profiteer, meaning that she also gets weapons and armors thanks to the Kree-Skrull War. But with their war ending, she now loses money, guns, and armors. And so she's very upset with the idea that now she lost all three of those things. Now, getting back over to Franklin Richards and Val, who were gambling earlier and having a hard time winning in their games, that is the moment they get caught by their mother, who is very upset with the idea that they went inside one of the rooms and began the process of gambling. But of course, that is the moment you have Susan Storm say, you know what, because I'm invisible and they can't see me, I am going to help you win your games. And so we see her stay invisible and do different things around the room to basically help Franklin and Val win their games, to win their money back they had lost earlier, but to also earn extra money as well. Now, we do pick up with Reed Richards, and we see Reed right now reprogram the arena to change the setting of the arena. The same one that you have Ben Grimm, the Human Torch, Jovan, and Nakala all fighting in. Now, the reason why he did change the setting is to show a wedding. Now, this wedding is very important because back in the early days of Marvel Comics, Reed Richards and a few other characters pulled off a fake wedding, a wedding to hopefully bring peace between the Kree and the Skrulls, because in that wedding you had a Kree and you had a Skrull getting married to one another to hopefully end the war. But of course, when both sides found out the wedding was fake, of course, the war had continued on. And so when Jovan and Nakala see this wedding video being played in front of them, they think their life purpose is to get married to one another and to hopefully end the war between the Kree and the Skrulls. On top of that, they look at the Fantastic Four as bad guys now because they know the last time there was a wedding done, it was a fake wedding made by Reed Richards. And so, of course, they took out the Human Torch and Ben Grimm. Now, you had the Human Torch and Ben Grimm be nice to these kids to pretend that they were so easily beaten, but in reality, they just faked it to hopefully have the kids just calm down and relax. Now, you have the Profiteer get very angry because thanks to the Fantastic Four, she was unable to make any kind of money at all. And so with that being said, she's kind of like, thanks to you guys, I have no money at all because you guys mess everything up. And now my two kids will not fight against one another like they used to because they believe that their goal or life purpose is to basically end the war between the Kree and the Skrulls. And so she tells her guards to kill off the Fantastic Four. But that is the moment you have one of her assistant comes over and say, hey, you no longer own us, nor this casino, because Val and Franklin, they just kept winning and winning, and they broke the bank to the point they now own everything completely. And it's kind of like, man, that hurts for the profiteer. But you have Val Richards make a deal with the profiteer. She can have all her money back and also her casino back, but she must give the rights up on those kids over to the Fantastic Four. Basically means that now the Fantastic Four have adopted 2 more kids into their family. On top of that as well, the profiteer must help the Fantastic Four find a way to get back home to Earth. And of course, she does agree to all the terms. Now, to go ahead and wrap up this video, we actually do pick up with the Fantastic Four arriving to their side of the universe, their small part of the universe, of course known as Earth. But right when they're about to begin the process of flying down to Earth, that is the moment you have Ben Grimm say, hey, I have a lot of red dots around Earth right now. And that is the moment you have the Fantastic Four see a bunch of ships surrounding the Earth. And we know why. It's the Kree. It's the Skrull. They're no longer fighting against one another. They have come together to fight together against one particular enemy. And so with that being said, this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, I'll see y'all next time. Later.